romance. Erotica, romance. My name is Nita. I'll be your mistress tonight. I'd like to put you in a trance. If I take you from behind, push myself into your mind when you least expect it, you try to reject it. If I'm in charge and I treat you like a child, will you let yourself go wild? Let my mouth go where it wants to. Give it up, do as I say. Give it up and let me have my way. I'll give you love, I'll hit you like a truck. I'll give you love, I'll teach you how to. I'd like to put you in a trance. Once you put your hand in the flame, it can never be the same. There's a certain satisfaction in a little bit of pain. I can see you understand me. Tell that you're the same. If you're afraid we'll rise above, I only make the ones I love. Give it up, do as I say. Give it up and let me have my way. I'll give you love, I'll hit you like a truck. I'll give you love, I'll teach you how to. I'd like to put you in a trance. Erotica, romance. I'd like to put you in a trance. Erotica, romance. Put your hands all over my body. I don't think you know what pain is. I don't think you've gone that way. I could bring you so much pleasure. I'll come to you when you say, I know you want me. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna hurt you. Just close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Put your hands all over my body, all over me. All over me. Erotica, give it up, romance. I'd like to put you in a trance. Erotica, give it up, romance. I like to do a different kind of erotica, give it up, romance. I like to put you in a trance. Erotica, romance. Put your hands all over my body. Only the one that hurts you can make you feel better. Only the one that inflicts the pain can take it away. Erotica.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to GAYXYZ. How's it going tonight, guys?
Oh,
Oh, that's how it's going. Oh. It's so funny you play that, Donovan. Not obviously because you always play Madonna, but because I just watched Truth or Dare the other night.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
I've seen it in bits and pieces my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But I never realized the magnitude of her bitchyhood until I watched it all the way in the room. And I hope she's learned some things along the way.
Well, she was 30 years old. I mean, I think about who. Well, you're only 20
was
something.
30 years old in that.
Yes.
Oh, she looks so young. Like I was thinking, like 23, 20. Like,
no, darling, no.
I guess I didn't realize that she got famous later in life, but
yeah. She was 30. And yeah, but of course she's grown since then. And of course things have changed and she's learned her lesson. So, but she's still a bitch, of course, but in different ways. Anyway.
Literally the other day, one of my friends, he was like, oh yeah, one of my friends went to the Madonna concert and he was so close. He could hear her yelling at her backup dancers to back up.
That sounds about right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We're coming at you. It's Tuesday, April 12th, 9 or so p.m. And we're coming from Dallas, Texas. It's me, myself, Donovan, and also Christian and Jason here on GAYXYZ. So thanks for listening. Tonight we're talking about several things. We're going to talk mainly about the first part of the show about sex because we thought we would do a show about this, and as well as the other half about hot topics. And also we're definitely going to talk about the Real Housewives of Dallas because we have so many things to say about that. So, but if you want to call in during the show, you can call in 214-377-0481, or you can use Skype and dial off limit show. So thanks for calling. And if you want to call in anytime during the show. So, one of the things I was thinking about, we talked about a show about sex or whatever. One of the things I was thinking about the other day, was I watched this documentary. Do both of you or either of you know who Robert Mapplethorpe was or not?
No, I don't.
No.
Okay, well, if you're someone in the art world, or if you're taking an art class or about history of art or whatever, photography or something, you might know who he was. But Robert Mapplethorpe was a gay man, and he was very popular in the 80s, and for his photographies, which is very, very, very sexually charged, and gay photography. And we're talking not just about a couple guys kissing. We're talking about fisting, and we're talking about gay sex, really explicit sex. But the difference was with his work was it wasn't just pornography; it really was art, and you have to kind of see why. But and so I guess my first question about sex tonight is what do you consider to be pornography, and what do you consider to be art? Do you see the difference?
Well, I think in the instance, I haven't seen his work, but currently at the Dallas Contemporary, they're doing a whole exhibit on fuck paintings, is what it's called. So it's actually really funny that you say this because I was just thinking about this and having this conversation because one of the pieces that they have in the exhibit is all this old like porn from like the 50s all the way to the 70s, and they've made like all these collages out of these like from these porn magazines. So if you look at it up close, you can see all the individual pictures, but when you step back, you see the overall kind of collage and the big picture that it creates.
Right.
So I definitely think it's up for interpretation, but something like that. Again, I haven't seen this guy's work, but I think anything where it's like artistically thought out, I guess you would say, regardless of what the graphic content is. But I wouldn't say like I
having a concept, having a
I wouldn't say that
something to say.
Pornhub or whatever those popular ones are.
Whatever those popular ones are.
Those are artistic. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's the difference too. I think it's basically having a point of view and making a statement, and I think that's the difference of art versus anything else or whatever, and having something to say. What do you think, Jason? And what do you consider art? And what do you consider pornography? Do you see a difference between the two?
I don't know how to describe it because I kind of look at it as both kind of like the same. I really don't differentiate between the two.
So you consider pornography art?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So it's an art form. to you?
Well, for me, it depends.
Management.com is art.
It depends where it's being like presented. If it's like in a museum, I guess it depends on the place. Because if it's like done in a museum or some type of art gallery or something like that, then I'm like, okay, this is art. But if it's like done in a adult bookstore, then I'm like, no, that's porn. So,
but what if they
I don't
show?
think, like,
What if they show it? What if they show an artistic movie in a porn store? Does that still make it porn? Just because it's art, it's art. And like, for example, a documentary about Van Gogh in a porn store. Does that make that porn? Or you know what I mean? I'm just interested in why you think the place makes a difference as opposed to what the content is.
I don't know.
Okay.
He needs to pray on it a little bit. But you don't think teachinghim.com is art, is what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
So maybe I think everyone who's listening to this show, and the two of you, should just look up Robert Mapplethorpe's work and check it out, and you'll see why it's art versus pornography. But anyway, that's one thing to talk about. Okay, so let's talk about.
Also, one thing I was also thinking about, it's the same kind of conversation if you think about an artist like Madonna, especially during her whole erotica phase, because so many people call it pornography and blah blah blah. But obviously, it's there's thought and expression there for her as an artist. So I think that's really interesting.
Kind of and she did she did a book, called Sex, which was softcore porn, basically. It starred her and several celebrities in it. And people say, oh, this is just pornography. That's all it is. And she looked at it as an artistic statement. And her statement essentially was that people are hypocritical about sex. So you can watch, which people are still saying and doing today, you can watch a movie, people get ripped to shreds and bloody and murderous type things. But people having sex is such a horrible thing. Oh my God, it's just taboo. So she was pointing the hypocrisy of our culture out, which still exists today. But anyway, what about okay? So let's talk about sexual positions. Then let's talk about that. And you don't have to tell us what your positions are, but I'm just curious about what your thoughts are on being three gay men, obviously. And one of the things I think it's interesting about being a gay man is that we have to do something that all gay men, most people don't have to actually discuss or know. And we don't always know when we meet someone if they're top or bottom or versatile or whatever. Sure. Whereas heterosexual men and women know how things are going to go down. So do you guys ever have an issue, or have you, since you guys are still in the dating world and everything, have an issue or have had an issue where you found yourself dating someone that you weren't sexually compatible with, in the end? So to speak.
Well, in the end, I think it would be for a different reason, such as like lackluster or disappointing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say based on position or based on kind of the role you play.
Mm-hmm.
I am versatile. I enjoy both. Mm-hmm. So I've never had that problem. I just
depends on who you're with.
I'm a little bit more adventurous, and I think sometimes when you are in a long-term relationship with somebody that's not, that may tend to be an issue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about you, Jason?
Yeah, I've called it quits because someone wasn't, we weren't sexually compatible.
And
so
yeah, do you think that when you're dating somebody, you should discuss that front, or do you think it's weird to do that, or what?
Not like sentence number 3, but I mean it's like at some point, yeah, you have to discuss it because you may think that they're into this type of thing or that type of thing, and it turns out that they probably aren't. So yeah. I have no problem. If I'm talking to someone, I have no problem discussing it. It's like, I need to know up front before we begin to waste each other's time.
But at the same time, that also kind of offends me, and maybe it's just because my point of view, but it also kind of offends me when one of the things somebody first says to me is that question. You know what I mean? I understand.
Don't you think it depends on where you're meeting them? If you're meeting them on Grindr and they ask you that question, it's one thing.
No, and that's true too. And nobody that I've ever met in real life has ever like straight up asked me that.
Top or bottom, yeah.
Right. I guess that's part of it. You just kind of, I guess, assume based on characteristics, and then you just kind of go from there. But
and the funny thing is, for me, it's so strange because almost. I don't know, I have the weirdest like sex dar or whatever you want to call it, because I would always meet guys whom I was attracted to that I'm also versatile, but I would meet guys that I was attracted to that I would want them to be on top, and they'd always end up being bottoms. And I'd find guys I wanted to be on top with, and they'd end up being tops. I swear to God, it happened to me all the time, and it was so weird. It's just like I have a weird attraction thing where I'm attracted to certain guys. But I think it's also because I think people who are, like you said, people who are tops. I mean, stereotypically, what do you think about a top? You think stereotypically a top is more masculine or whatever?
Sure,
and
I mean, but that's
aggressive, assertive. No, it's not. Or a bottom is more, Nally, as I would say in my day,
right.
or whatever. And versatile. People always say versatile. Piss me off because I've always been versatile too. Piss me off is that people would always say, well, versatile people are just bottoms. You don't want to say they're bottoms. That's not true. I mean,
Right.
because for me,
I think it just depends on the mood.
to me, it's
and
like the chemistry. To me, it's the chemistry
Yeah.
with the person. Because there's some guys you can look at, for me anyway, and I would be like, oh, that totally I want to be a bottom of that guy. Other guys, I would totally want to be a top of that guy. And other guys, it was both. So I think it's that way for most people. Isn't it that way for you?
Yeah, I think it just depends on the chemistry and who it is, and yeah, I agree.
Okay, good. What about the whole gay thing that we have here in America? I guess it's all over the world about categorizing gays by their sexual, not sexual proclivities, but there's how they look. I guess by how we look.
Nicknames like bear, otter.
Yes, daddies, twinks, whatever.
I think it's just a kitschy way to kind of the gays are so kitschy.
That's true.
It's always, I think it's a way to just kind of categorize things. I feel like it'd be the same, like in a straight world, if you say that you're a chubby chaser or you like a girl that's a little bit thicker, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just by putting a label on it, putting on a name. I personally don't use them. You know what I mean? I understand them, and I especially understand like the whole bear culture, but I wouldn't categorize myself, and I wouldn't go around saying like, "Oh, I'm only interested in otters." You know what I mean? Or silver foxes. Like that's just so not my style. So, for me, it doesn't bother me. Rather than I just think it's just a part of gay culture, and I guess accept.
Well, don't you think it's kind of limiting though to put people in those categories like that?
Sure, I think it depends on your perspective too. If you are a bear type, or a bigger guy, or a twink, or whatever it is, sure, there's going to be people that say that they're not interested in that. But wouldn't that happen regardless of if there was a title on it?
Exactly, that's right. I agree. What about you, Jason? What do you think?
When it comes to the different, categories, when it comes to different types of people. They're there. I mean, like I said, I have to agree with Christian. I'm not going around saying, "Oh, I'm looking for a twink," or "Oh, I'm only into this," or "I'm only into bears," or "I'm only into otters." But, I mean, they're there. I mean, I guess in some way it's kind of, in a good way to kind of, categorize, but it's not to
organization,
right?
See, but if somebody like sent you a message and was like, "Oh, I'm not into," whatever, would that offend you if you don't like to be labeled that?
No, because I've heard it before.
Yeah.
For me, I just think the labels are wrong, period. I mean, generally, I think because no one really usually fits into any particular category 100%, right? So it really is kind of a misnomer to say somebody is this or that. But I mean, if you want to categorize people, bears or this and twinks or that or whatever, fine. But I think it's just I think it's irrelevant. I think that's what you're all saying too. So whatever. What are you guys? So what about people? Like for me, I'm very open about sex, whatever. But are you guys? Do you think people are too prude about sex or too open about sex, and who decides what is and is not morally acceptable sexually? What you do sexually, or how you exhibit your sexuality, or whatever.
For me, I'm just a naturally private person just about my life in general. I wouldn't say that it's like a taboo thing for me. Like I would just never discuss it because when I'm with my really, really good friends and we're at dinner and we all have a glass of wine, I just had a conversation with my best friend yesterday. It's like, girl, guess what happened? You know what I mean? That's just how it is. I think it's just that I tend to be a little bit more private regarding a lot of things in my life. So if I don't know somebody super well or I'm on a public platform like this podcast, sometimes it could be a little bit challenging. But as I get older, obviously it's just a part of being a human being. I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of that. But you know, I'm not the type to run around and kind of parade, you know, my social activities.
Your escapades. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Jason? Jason,
I'm sorry. What was the question?
what do you think? What do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm just the type of person. I mean, I don't mind talking about it. I mean, I do with my, with my close friends, not with just anyone.
Yeah.
But do you think society is too taboo, or do you feel like we've kind of grown out of that?
I feel like it's too taboo.
You do, yeah.
I do, because just people are just so super modest now. It's like, I don't know, something happened a few years ago where a woman walked into a Walmart with a bathing suit on, and like people flipped the fuck out because she was in a bathing suit in the summer and she happened to go in, and it was anything like too revealing.
And a Walmart, really, of all places?
Yes.
Okay.
But people just like flipped out, and yeah, I think a lot of people are just too modest, and it's like,
Well,
they're showing a little bit too much skin and can't deal with that,
But that's my question. Who decides what is morally acceptable and what isn't acceptable, and what isn't, sexual, or what's actually just the human body? And I mean, like, you're walking down the street, obviously, I think it'd be odd to see someone walking down the street naked, obviously, in the middle of a business day or something, obviously. But I mean, I'm not saying to that extent, but I mean, generally, like, if you are on, like, you're on a nude beach or something, and everyone is naked, or they're topless or whatever. Mm-hmm. Is that a problem for? Why is that a problem for the general public, or why would that be a problem for children to see? I mean, do you think it's a problem for children to see the human form? I don't mean a dick wagging their face, by the way. I mean just like walking by or whatever.
Yeah, I think it just, as society, we've kind of like shamed the human body in that way. Even though we all have the same parts, I guess it's because not everybody wants to see everybody's parts, and if we were walking around naked, I probably wouldn't want to see everybody's parts, especially if I was in Walmart, because I'm sure the bikini wasn't cute. I've said that many people. So I think it's more so of not embarrassment, but just like, ain't nobody trying to see everybody's goodies. You know what I mean?
So you're glad we've got clothes.
Yeah, and it pays my bills. So
yes, it does. Good. Okay. Well, and the last of our main questions, and we'll get to the list that we had earlier, is circumcised versus uncircumcised. And we talked generally about this before, but just quickly, let's go through that and see what your thoughts are on that whole thing.
Circumcised.
I don't have a preference, but my deal about it is, if we're chilling and one thing leads to another, and it's like a sweaty, moist situation.
Oh, it can smell. Yeah.
That's like an immediate turn off for me. Like,
well, it would be for anybody.
I mean, but that tends to be the issue with the foreskin situation.
Gotcha. Well, I guess more my question is that not so much your personal preference for it, but more about whether you think that circumcision is necessary still, or that
for aesthetic purposes, mm-hmm. I think I don't mind it, Yes. But isn't it? It's a religious thing, right? Or
in America, it's not. Unless you're Jewish or something, obviously. Okay. But I mean, they circumcise women in Africa, and that's just considered to be a brutal act. But when they do it to men in America, I said Africa, didn't I? Yeah, in America, it's not. So why is it okay if you're born with foreskin? Obviously, it's there for a reason. It's not there just because God, if you believe in God, whatever, said, oh, let's just add this extra skin on there so they can cut it off. I mean, it makes no sense. So obviously it's there for a purpose. It makes no sense to me why people would still do that. I mean, it's really a painful thing, even for a baby. So why did you think it's still necessary that people get circumcised when it's really not necessary at all?
Well, isn't the continuing argument on it that it's like more like it's like better for cleanliness and hygiene? Or
well, you could say the same thing about a woman's vagina. A woman's vagina is closed up, and she doesn't keep it clean. What's going to happen? It's going to smell and be disgusting. So it's no different for a man to keep it clean. It's no different. So I don't understand that. This distinction. It makes no sense to me at all. But I mean, aesthetically, people have different preferences. Obviously, for me, it doesn't matter either way. But I mean, I think you have to decide whether it's really worth cutting off a baby's foreskin just so that a girl or a guy, whoever, finds it more attractive. I mean, I think it's stupid. What do you think, Jason?
I like them circumcised. Sorry.
I know you like them circumcised. That's not the question I'm asking. I'm asking is do you think that being circumcised is necessary?
My personal opinion, yes.
And why?
It's just more of a personal hygiene thing to me. I mean, I understand what you say about the the vaginas and that type of thing and all that, but my own personal opinion, I think it's better.
Yeah, but you think it's better because of your own aesthetic bias, your own aesthetic bias, not because it's a medical necessity. That's what I'm saying. Right. I mean, that's your personal belief, right?
Right.
Okay. But it doesn't make any sense medically speaking, but okay, whatever. All right. How old were you guys when you both knew you were gay?
I knew I was gay. I want to say I knew I was gay when I was 13, but I didn't accept it within myself till I was like 14, and then I came out like right after I turned 15.
Okay.
But I'd say I started feeling the feelings, and I started thinking about it, and like being like I held a lot of self-hate around that time just because I didn't think I wanted to be gay. You know what I mean? I didn't want to disappoint my family. I grew up in a very small town in Oklahoma. Like I just didn't want to deal with it. And so around the age of 14 is when I started to warm up to it a little bit more. But by the time I was 15, I knew it was what it was, and there was no getting around it. So.
Well, did you? So when you said you knew when you were like 13 or whatever, but does that mean you knew, or does that mean before that you never had any inclination or feeling about what it meant?
Before that, I never had any inclination about it.
Wow, so you thought you were straight before that, or you didn't think about it at all?
I thought I was straight. I was a child.
You didn't think about it either way.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Okay. What about you?
I don't think until you hit puberty that you were really sexually attracted to
someone. Yeah.
From my own experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Because that's when I started to be attracted to guys.
Okay. Jason, what about you?
I kind of had the as far as the curiosity, probably when I was like around 7, but I didn't partake on it until my teenage years, of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll say about 7.
7, okay. And okay. And so when you were 7, you felt like you were. Did you know what it was called, or you just had a feeling about it?
Well, at that time I was 7. I didn't know what it was. I just knew I was like, oh. And it like I said, at 7 it wasn't a sexual thing. I just noticed at 7 that I like to play with boys more than play with girls. That type of thing. But at that time, and then when I hit my teenagers, and then of course I was like, oh, okay, well that's what that is. So. Right. But yeah, at that time it was just it was just something that I know it was different. I just like to play with boys more than play with girls.
Okay. So,
and when I say that, it wasn't anything sexual, of course. It was just like I just prefer being around boys as opposed to girls.
I understand. I get it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was. I'd say I knew since I was like 5 or 6 years old that I liked guys as opposed to girls. But like he said, it wasn't like a sexual thing. It was more like I know that I'm different somehow. But then at, I'd say 11, when I hit puberty early, go figure. I hit puberty early at 11, and I knew then for sure that I was totally gay, and I totally had no question about it. And then it came out when I was 14. Have either of you guys ever had sex with the opposite sex?
I have not.
I have.
I'm a gold star gay, so no, I have not. Thank God.
Mine was just a one-time thing, though. It was just a one-time thing. It was not several different instances. It was a one-time thing, and it was fucking horrible. So, yeah, one-time thing. Hated it. I was dissatisfied. I'm sure she was dissatisfied as well. So,
how old were you at that time?
I was 14.
And when did you come out? When you were later in your teenage years?
No, I actually came out when I was when I say coming out, you mean as far as to like relatives or whatever, or
just like living openly gay? Because I know you still had some issues in your family, but
I probably didn't like officially come out until I was about 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy?
Tried it out. You covered all your bases.
Why did you try it out though? Did you try it out because you were trying to see if you were gay or not, or you trying it out because you're trying to please your parents or family?
No,
or what?
it wasn't that. It was one of those things.
Curiosity
to where, what?
Curiosity.
Yeah, it was just a curiosity thing, and I mean, I had never messed around with anyone. She had never messed around with anyone, so it was just a curiosity thing, and it both sucked. So
Did you know that you were attracted to guys at that time?
I did, but I didn't partake on it until afterwards because
Right,
it was weird.
like...
Because most people say like, oh, when I had a curiosity about guys, I don't go with guys or that type of thing. No, I went with a girl first, and then later on, well, I ain't gonna say later on, like shortly afterwards, started messing around with guys. But yeah, it was just a curiosity thing. It was horrible. So
It was done.
yeah, when I got finished, I was like, it was messy, and it was just, I was like, no, I can't do this. And she was like, we are not having a good time. And I was like, I second that. I was like, let's just go get something to eat or something, because I'm just like, this is not working.
Have either of you ever had a three-way before?
Yes.
And was that with a man or was that with a woman?
No, it was with two guys.
Two guys. Okay. What about you, Christian?
I did when I was very, very young.
Okay.
And I was very stupid.
Why were you stupid?
I was kind of hanging out with the wrong crowd at the time, and the guys were a lot older than I was, and I just was making very poor decisions, and that was one of them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it's something I regret, but I learned a lot from it, and you live and you learn.
I've had three ways. I don't regret mine at all.
I don't regret mine. I've had quite a few.
I'm not going to go into details over the what all entailed.
Well, obviously yours was somehow it was traumatic or something. So that's different. But yeah, I understand that. But yeah, I enjoyed mine. Those were great things.
Yeah, great. I enjoyed mine. I've had quite a few, so I don't have. So
slut. Anyway,
I mean, ain't nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it, as long as you're being safe. There's nothing wrong with it. I have had quite a few, not any recently.
Okay, well then I have a question. Since you guys both enjoyed it so much, then is that something you're willing to do in a long-term relationship with your partner?
Not me personally. No.
If discussed, it depends. It depends.
On vacation where nobody knows you.
No, not even that. It's not even that. It's something that would have to be discussed. First of all, in any relationship that I've been in, it's never been discussed. But if it were to come up, it would be one of those things that, like, it had to be thoroughly. First of all, it can't be a friend. You can't bring your friend over and be like, oh no, because I wouldn't work with that. I wouldn't do that, because I'm thinking to myself, all right, when I'm not around, y'all still probably fucking around. So no, it had to be someone that we would like mutually agree upon. But I don't even see that happening.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
I'm too possessive like that.
Yeah, and I agree that it's not, for me, it's not part of a monogamous relationship. Now, if you have an open relationship, you've outlined the rules of that, and that's part of it. Right. That's one thing. That's fine, whatever. But if you're a monogamous relationship, that does not include a three-way. In my opinion, that doesn't work for me personally. So, No, thank you. Have either of you ever had sex with someone of a different race or ethnicity?
Of course. Yes.
Well, you wrote the question, not me.
No, I'm saying, of course.
I was just asking your questions, man. Just asking your questions.
We're very culturally accepting on this show.
Okay. All right. Good. All right.
I mean, do you want to know what race is, or was you just asking in general?
I don't know. It's your question. What do you want to know? Do you want to know?
Well, I mean, it's yes. To answer your question, yes. I thought you wanted me to maybe go into detail and just. Like, what different races have I been around? But
tell me, how about we do this? What races have you not had sex with?
For me, like Asian guys, I just personally am not very attracted to Asian men. I'm sure there's somebody out there that would just make my heart.
Even Dean Cain?
I don't know who that is. Flutter, but to this point, I
Dean
just
Cain
haven't
is hot.
Dean
I just
Cain.
haven't personally met anybody
Yeah.
or seen anybody on TV or in magazines that just really flooded my basement in that way.
So just Asian guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
What about you, Jason? What race are you not interested in, or have you not had sex with?
You know, I think
Sexual,
I've been with
for
them
sex,
all.
I mean. Okay, with them
No,
all.
I think I've been with them
I've been
all.
with them all.
I told
We're
you.
finding out a lot about Jason tonight.
No, I mean, seriously, now that I think about it, I've been with black, I've been with white, I've been with Hispanic, I've been with Middle Eastern, I've been with Indian. Well, I guess it's Middle Eastern too. I've been with Asian.
You're just the whole Windstar Casino buffet over there, Jason Joy. Like,
I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
I've been with, yeah. So
Okay.
I was gonna say European, but that's more of like a that's more like a nationality, not a race.
Right.
But, so.
Well, no, yeah, you're right. It's not really a race. Yeah. I've had sex. Who I've not had sex with racially. I've never had sex with an Asian guy. I'm not generally attracted to Asian men.
so you're with me.
I've never had sex with a black man, like a true black man either, and that's because I'm generally not attracted to black men either. So that's it. I've had sex with everybody else.
Well, everyone that's listening knows that I am an equal opportunity employee.
Culturally accepting.
Absolutely.
Yes. I love them all.
Now let's see what you think about size. Does size matter?
No.
Yes. Fuck yes, it matters. God damn, it matters.
Ultimately, it's the motion of the ocean. But if you don't have
Something to work with
equipment to get the waves going,
right?
Unfortunately, we're gonna have to pass it this time.
Exactly.
I have to disagree.
Excuse me. Yeah, for me, size matters absolutely, and the reason is because I've been with men. I've been very fortunate to be with mostly men who have had nice penises, but I've had a couple men I've been with in my past, and I have my share. I've had my share for sure. That had some small penises, and small penises hurt if you're on the bottom.
So
especially.
is that a deal breaker thing for you? That like if you really
Yes.
into a guy
Yes.
and then that goes down and like the equipment is just not fully loaded, is that enough for you to like
Just
go ahead
call
and-
me Samantha on Sex and the City because
Okay.
I'm Goldie Cox, okay? You know, I need just the right size. And the reason is this, because I've been in the position where I was with someone a long time ago that I loved and he was great in every way, but he was not able to satisfy me sexually because he had a very small penis. And I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried and it just did not work for me.
Can you if somebody gets a penile
Sorry.
implant, does that make it bigger? Is that what a penile implant is?
They put in fat.
So does it make it thicker?
Thicker
But
or
not
longer,
necessarily.
depending upon
Longer?
depending on what kind of surgery they have. One of them you can have fat injected into it that makes it thicker.
Sure.
And the other one is longer, where they actually literally take a ligament and they actually stretch it. It's painful as fuck. I don't know why. I mean, you'd have to have a really, 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 really tiny penis to go through all that. I'm sorry. Seriously. I mean, how big? But what about being too big? Is there such a thing as too much penis?
Yes. But see,
But
here's
that's
my
a
thing,
lot.
though.
I mean, that's a lot. That's like a full Coke can at that point.
Here's
I'm
my
out.
thing, though.
Mhm.
Here's my thing. I'm not real big on size. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want someone who's like 1.5 inches. Let's be clear about that. But I also don't want someone who's fucking 14 inches or some shit like that. So, for the most part, size does not matter. Because here's the thing. Let's be real. Let's be real now. In the gay community, not even in the gay community, just with men in general, whether you're gay or straight, it seems like, okay, the average penis size is like 5.5 inches, reportedly. Yeah. Okay, so, but in this era, it's like if you're 5 inches or 6 inches or 7 inches, that's considered small to most people. Well, maybe not 7 inches, but maybe 5 or 6. That's considered small to a lot of people, which really is average. That's not small. Anything under 5.5 inches is small.
Mm-hmm.
But in society, just whether you're a gay or straight man, it's like.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you what. I am sick and tired of being discriminated against because I have a big dick. I'm tired of it. I'm serious. No, guys
thank
would.
God you
guys
found
would.
somebody that loves you for who you are.
No, see, I do, and I'm just telling you though, guys would run the other direction, and it would be it's very annoying. And let me fuck you. I don't want to fuck you. You can't fuck me. You're too big or whatever. Or you fuck me, and then they couldn't take it or whatever. It was very annoying. So it does cut both ways. It does cut both ways. So I mean, you can have the thing for me is. The reason I like a big dick is because it turns me on to look at one as well as the way it feels. So it's
yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong to look at a big dick. I mean, they're beautiful. I mean, personally, I would like to pet one, but I mean, it's like, it's just one of those things. Now, but here's the thing, though. Let's stop. Hold on. Sidebar. I love a pretty big dick. Okay. I love him. I love to touch them. I love to pet them. I like to talk to them. I love it all. Okay. However, just because you got a big ass dick, do not think you can just do whatever you can to my body, such as
ram it in.
Just ramming it in. Telling you, hold on, wait a minute, I need a minute, yada yada yada. No, you said you're trying to shove the shit in, and then I fuck around and I gotta sit on a pillow for the next 3 days. So and this actually happened to me years ago when I was like 21.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I was like, okay, I need stop, I need, okay, hold on, wait. What, you going too fast? Wait, I need you to put some more lube on.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much. Mm-hmm. Stop. It's burning. Take it out. It was just one of those things. I was just like, and he was just trying to get to the finish line. I'm like, what are we rushing for? We got all fucking night. and that was a horrible night. But anyway.
Well, some guys though, they're like, oh, I just love big dick or whatever. And then when you have one and they want you to fuck them, and they're like, fuck me. And then when you fuck them hard, they're like, oh, stop. And so it's like very annoying when it's like, you're saying fuck me, but you don't want to fuck you. And so, I mean, trust me, it cuts both ways. I understand your side too, because I've been on the receiving end as well. And that's why I'm a good both ways, top and bottom, because I understand both sides of the coin. And I understand that you don't just ram it in like you're fucking a girl, because that doesn't work that way for the guy. And, you got to take things slow and have lots of lube. That's the thing you got to have. So I think if you have the right person who has a big dick, it's fine. But I think if you have the wrong person, like you just said, Jason, it's painful, and you'll remember them forever.
I had a hookup with the guy years ago when I was in college. Black guy had a huge fucking pretty ass dick. I still remember it. You had a pretty dick. If you listening, you had a pretty dick, and you know you had a pretty dick. However, he made this comment. He was like, so do you want a bottom? And I saw it. I was like, hell no. So then he was like, then he has the nerve to say, as if this comment is going to make it any better, okay? He said, well, my girlfriend can take it.
Well, that's like vagina.
Motherfucker, I'm not your girlfriend.
And I don't have a vagina.
I don't have a vagina. Mm-mm. Sorry. No, you are not sticking that thing up in me. It ain't happening. We can jack off together. We can give each other head, but I'm not. No, you ain't. No, that ain't happening.
Have you guys ever been dickmatized by a guy before?
Oh yes. You can't get enough of it. And you just
fall in love with it, even though everything in the relationship is wrong.
Sucks. Yes, you're like, you need it. And you just, oh my god, yes, trust me, I have several times. Yes, and the guy could be like the biggest fucking loser in the world, and it doesn't matter. He has no job, and you're like, fuck me anyway. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, listening.
Does that still count if they have good ass?
What do you mean? Does it still count?
Stigmatized too?
That's asthmatized, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
what that is.
I mean, I really haven't been dickmatized, but I've been asthmatized.
Oh, I've been both. That's for sure. Damn. Oh, anyway, yeah, I think it can happen both ways. Before we get to pop culture corner, real quick, I wanted to ask the last question about sex, and that is, have you? What was the question on here? Wait, did you know someone? Oh, the strangest place you've ever had sex.
Oh no! I can't answer this question.
Sure you can.
What do you consider strange?
I don't know. It's your question. You tell me.
I'm gonna let you guys go. But I'm telling you, I always win this. But go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead.
Let me think. Because I've had sex in a lot of places.
Jesus.
I would say the strangest place I've had sex is in a church parking lot.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't know if it's well, I guess it's the house of the Lord, so I guess I was committing a sin.
Oh.
So,
What about you, Christian?
No, I want to hear yours first.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
It's hard to pick one, but I'm trying to think of one like strange place. I mean, I could name a few. Like once was actually in a parking lot, but it was a Home Depot parking lot. It was out the docks, on the dock side of the thing, and we were on to my car. So that was at night. Once was in a dressing room. I've done it in a church. I've done it in a church park, actually, right next to a church on the grass when I was 17, my 17th birthday. I don't know. That's about it.
but I actually have a few places though.
Okay.
Let's see. Church parking lot. In the woods.
Yeah.
In a bathroom.
Yeah, that's not that weird.
In a closet.
Yeah.
In the car.
These are
You're
not weird
really shocked
places.
at me.
No.
These are not weird. These are.
These are typical. Where was your place, Christian?
I have to clear my throat. It was when I was a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
and I fully regret it, and I have prayed for my sins. But the photo booth at the mall.
The photo booth? Oh my God.
There's no door. How's that even possible?
That's what I'm saying. Somebody could totally have come in on you.
It's something I'm very embarrassed to admit at this time. And I have prayed for forgiveness. And unfortunately, it's just something I can't rewrite in my book.
Okay.
One day there will be a long, funny essay about it in my, 99-cent Walmart book that comes out one day.
Let's see if I can add this.
I guess the people got in.
Hello, caller. Are you there?
Hi, Donovan. It's John.
Hi, John. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Hold on. Let me try to add you to our call here. Hold on.
Okay.
Christian and Jason. Sorry, I have to do it this way. Here we go. Add.
It's okay.
Okay, are you all there? We've got a caller. It's John on the line. Hello? Jason? Christian?
Hi.
Oh, Christian, you there?
Hi.
Hi. We've got John on the line. Is this John that I know? John from Atlanta? Or from Georgia?
Yes, it is.
Hey, John. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, guys.
Thank you for calling in. It's been so long.
Pause for a moment. Okay, who are we speaking with?
This is my friend John from Georgia. He's a longtime listener to my show, Off Limits Show, and also now to, of course, GAYXYZ. Thank you for calling.
You're welcome.
What did you want to say? Did you want to say something about sex tonight or whatever is on your mind?
Craziest place you've had
I mean,
sex?
sure. I just thought I'd call in because I haven't gotten a chance to call in yet because of my schedule, but...
I'm glad you did. So what do you think about what were we talking about? Oh,
Craziest place you've had sex.
yeah, the craziest place you've ever had sex.
Oh, God.
And John's
Probably
shy.
in a pickup truck.
In a pickup truck? Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. What about what were the other questions we asked tonight? Something he might be interested in answering. Let's see. Well, John has a black boyfriend, so I know John likes black guys.
Does size really matter?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Preach, sister.
Yeah, it
I
does.
guess I'm the only one then.
You're in the minority, Jason.
Yeah.
But what's more important, size of the boat or motion of the ocean? If you had to
Motion
choose.
of the ocean, definitely.
Okay, but if you
Because
could
I've
get
had
the
all spectrums.
but if you can get the combo, that's ideal, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, exactly.
Amen.
I like to call it like the boyfriend penis, so it's not too big and it's not too small. It's perfect. It's right in the middle.
Good.
Luckily, that's what I have now.
Good. I'm sure Brett would be happy to say happy to know that you called his penis just adequate. So that's good to know.
Well,
I'm just
it's
kidding.
More than adequate.
I'm
It's
kidding.
a
I'm
little
kidding.
above average.
I'm just joking. I'm sure it is. Okay, so are you? What about? He's been. How long have you been dating Brenton anyway? Like a year?
No, we're actually going on our 3 years.
Has it been that long? Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, and we are engaged to be married.
Yay!
So
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You better send me an invitation.
Yeah, that's good because at 3 years, I knew I wanted to get out of there.
Yes. That is good that's good that you've been 3 years, so you know for sure this is the man you want to be with. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Absolutely. He's walking in the door as we speak.
Hey, Brenton, how's it going?
The podcast. It's Donovan. Hi.
Hey, so are you, so anything you want to say about sex or anything that we were talking about tonight on the show?
Well, I only just started listening.
Oh, sorry. You'll have to go back and listen to the rest of it. But one thing we did talk about that was a little controversial was about circumcision versus uncircumcised or whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I prefer either or. It really doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I just think whatever. I mean, I think circumcision is kind of unfair to.
That's what I was saying.
Personally, because they don't have a say in it.
Exactly. I think if you think that maybe when they get older, if they want to get circumcised, then they can get circumcised, right?
Yeah, exactly. But
Thank you.
I just feel like I don't discriminate towards these.
I don't either.
I just think it's unfair to do that to a child. I think it's cruelty, you know.
I agree.
Because they're not able to make that decision for themselves.
Absolutely. Well, anything else you want to say about that?
No, I just really wanted to say hi and introduce myself. I know I've added a few of you on social media other than you, Donovan.
Good.
We've been friends for a long time. So.
Good. Well, thanks for calling in. I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you when I went to Atlanta, by the way.
I know. I'm so sorry I missed you, and I had to work. Work is
that's okay. You know, Michael and I wanted to meet you, but he didn't get to come anyway, so that's all right. But maybe next time.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe I can make a trip to Texas and we can all go out and do something.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to meet both of y'all. That would be awesome. Yeah, Jason and Christian and I would love to meet you.
Right.
So all thanks right, for. Guys, well, I have to go dye my hair and get ready for tomorrow.
We'll make sure it looks good, girl.
I will. I'll post pictures.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.
Right,
thanks for calling,
guys. It was nice meeting you, Kristen.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh well, that was a nice little surprise.
Oh, that was sweet.
Good. Well, anyway, so now we're going to talk about.
I literally thought somebody, when we answered that, I literally thought somebody was about to get on this phone and talk about how ignorant we are.
I'm sure it's coming.
I literally took a deep breath and I was like, oh, here we go.
Well, people are entitled to their opinion.
So that was a nice, thank you, John. That was a nice, unexpected surprise.
Yes, it was. And I'm glad he called. So thank you so much. So now we're going to go to Pop Culture Corner, where we're going to talk about pop culture. So let's talk about what's going on with, what was I, where's my list? Crap, I lost the list. Here it is. Where's the list? Oh, there it is. So let's talk about J-Lo and Ain't Yo Mama, or Ain't Yo Mama.
Okay, so J-Lo dropped her new song, Ain't Yo Mama. And everyone was super excited for it. She performed it on the American Idol finale. It was doing really well on iTunes. It was like in the top 20. And then the next day when it went on sale, it started doing really well. And then the producer credits came out, and everybody found out that it was produced by Dr. Luke.
Oh, no.
You guys know the whole Dr. Luke versus Kesha thing, and so many celebrities have come out and said that they are not willing to work with Dr. Luke or his record label at this time. Unfortunately, Jennifer Lopez was not one of those, and now the song has since completely tanked. It's not getting any radio play, and the entire internet, if you go on her social media feed, every comment on Facebook, every comment, you go to like the pop culture blogs when they talk about it, every comment is dragging her for this.
Well, wait. So was it produced by Dr. Luke before the whole Verhakel, whatever happened?
I'm sure it's been produced. I'm sure they recorded this like last year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But still, you know, this has been going on for at least, it's been in the media, heavy media, for 3 to 4 months now. So you know that if you're going to put out a lead single by this super controversial guy,
You're gonna get some flack for it.
You're gonna get some flack for it. I don't think they were expecting this much, and she still has yet to address the issue. But the song is not doing so well, which is disappointing because I actually like the song.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a good balance between her kind of like R&B style and her like Latina kind of, Miami pop kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Unfortunately, I can't really get behind it just because of the whole Dr. Luke thing, and I just morally, I don't think it's right. And unfortunately, it comes at the cost of her.
Well, oh well.
I mean, when it comes to that, I'm sure it was recorded way before this happened, but let's be honest, J-Lo really ain't had no good music since she came out with the album On the 6, okay?
Oh, stop. That's a damn problem.
That's the only album that I really like. Her other shit has been trash to me. She's had a few songs here and then. I'm like, okay, that's cute. It ain't, it's not, buy-worthy. But, I'm like, okay, it's cute. It's cute on the radio. I can, swivel my, shoulders to it or some shit. But I'm not going to be like, oh, my God, let me go and buy it. But, girl, just stick to acting. Your shit ain't selling. You just came out with the last album, whatever that song was, and you thought that song, I Love You, Poppy, was going to do great, and that shit tanked. The whole album tanked. Girl, just stick to acting.
Well, another famous diva who's pissed people off is Janet Jackson because of her postponing her tour.
She's with child.
Mm-hmm.
Is she with child, though? They haven't said that.
That's what everyone is speculating. I'm just going off what everyone is saying.
Because she said in a statement that she was postponing her tour till 2017 because she is preparing to start a family, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a surrogate that's about to pop. It could be herself being pregnant, But the funniest thing to me is that all weekend on Twitter, there was all these memes going around, and it was like, sorry, can't come into work today. I'm expecting a family. And it was like her face. Sorry, I can't mow your lawn. I'm expecting a family.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny. Like, if you think about, like, pop star problems.
Yes.
Like, in reality, not going to work because
right.
For a year, girl, after she already done postponed this tour already.
Yeah, that's some nerve, isn't it?
And then for a moment, she wasn't giving people their money back. Either.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. They have now said that if you'd like to request a refund, you can.
Oh, fuck yeah, they're gonna request a refund. Fuck that.
I would be hot if I paid my hard-earned money. See, you ain't about you not giving out refunds.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, they did run the $20 promo on Thanksgiving, and I'm sure that was half the arena.
$20, yes, you're right. You know it is. I remember you telling us about that on the air too. I remember that. Okay, let's talk about Housewives of Dallas. Let's talk about Housewives of Dallas.
Okay. I'm going to
just
say my preface, and then I'll let you guys talk about it because I didn't watch it. But from the D Magazine review that I read this morning, it sounded like a hot-ass mess. Okay. So I want to hear.
Well, the thing is, as often is the case, Jason and I disagree on this. And we see it differently, but he did not like his. He let him speak for himself, and I did, but for different reasons. So go ahead, Jason. Let's say your piece.
The show was a hot fucking mess. Bottom line, okay. I don't know who did the casting for this franchise. They only talked about how much they were involved in charity, and they talked about how much they like to fart and shit. I was just like, 31 minutes into it, I was like, I text Donovan, and I was like, I do not know if I can get through the rest of it.
And it didn't get good till minute 41 or something.
But see, to me, that wasn't even good. Viewers considered that good, but that wasn't good to me. Yeah, she confronted her because she was like, oh, you're mimicking me. It was like the shit that they were talking about with the so-called drama was so ninth grade.
That's the whole thing, Jason. You act like this drama that's so ninth grade isn't the same fucking drama that's on every other Real Housewives show. It is the same shit. Yeah, different city.
But these girls, some of these girls, well, not some, most of these girls on here just seem so like an airhead. And
yes, that's true.
They were ditzy and delusional as hell, and it's like
Carrie, I liked of all the housewives they introduced. I liked Carrie, who's like plastic surgeon's wife or whatever, and she's also a nurse or some shit. I don't know. She's a doctor or whatever. Anyway, and then I liked one of the friends of the housewives, and that's it. The rest of them were a bit like insipid for me.
I do like the woman that she's married to the surgeon. And
That's
I think the reason
Carrie.
I don't think I like her because she's the only one that really has a fucking job.
Well, they're housewives, though. Remember?
But it's like, it was just so.
I feel like you are not. I feel like you're holding the Housewives of Dallas to a completely different standard than you're holding any other housewives. For example, Potomac. Potomac is no better than Housewives of Dallas. No, it is not. It is still the same fucking nonsense that is on this show thus far. It's no different. The only thing's different, although I will say we did discuss this already, was about the race thing. That's the only thing that was made it a little bit more serious.
Right, but someone out there has to agree with me. Like,
a lot of people agree with
Housewives
you.
of Dallas,
A lot of people agree with you.
It was just painful to watch. It was like, they would like whatever the girl is with the red hair, whatever her name is,
Brandy.
She got on my nerves, and she was talking about how she was over at one of the other housewives' houses, and the little boy's picking up shit with his bare hands, and I was like, who lets their child do this?
See, but I actually kind of love that. And again, I haven't seen it, but I actually kind of love that because usually a lot of the times on these housewives show, they're so high, like they're so like they feel like they have to be ladies and they're high and mighty. So when I started hearing about this whole like poop fart thing,
they
it
were
kinda
real.
made me laugh because I'm like,
and
they are literally cuckoo, and I feel like that's women in Dallas. Like they're big personalities, really cuckoo. So I am happy to hear that a little bit of that.
And even Brandy, the one that you're talking about that said that primarily it was her and her friend, the other one I can't remember, Stephanie, I think. They were talking about that. And she said after the fact on Watch What Happens Live, she said, well, I know I was talking about shit and poop or whatever she said. Did you say poo or whatever she said? And she said, the thing is, it was in the middle of my kids' potty training. And so that's all I was about was pee and poop and all that stuff. And so it was on my brain and we were just trying to have fun. We were just playing around, And so I agree with that. However, the problem I had was that they were talking about poop and pee and stuff like that at a charity event. And it was kind of like was really like out of like, not the right place for that. But the funniest thing to me, the funniest thing the whole night, of course, like I think I tweeted this out or whatever, was that, or posted on Facebook, was that when Leanne Locken said, oh my God, it's really Plano in here.
And people went ham.
And people went
like, what are
nuts.
you trying to say?
Don't you think that's only funny like in Texas? Like I don't think that like
yes, it's only funny in
Connecticut
Texas
is gonna get that joke.
But that's okay. That's okay because that's what people will begin to get it now because everyone asked about it and it had to be explained to everyone. It was explained to Watch What Happens Live, and so it's explained now. But the point is that it was just a funny comment that I thought was hilarious for our people here in Dallas. But I don't know. I thought it was okay. I'm going to give it a chance. Like I told Jason last night. For me, I'm a ride or die. RO. Whatever, Housewives, Real Housewives, RHO, whatever, fan. So whatever it's going to be, a train wreck or funny or good or bad or whatever, I'm still going to watch it. So, and I'm going to give it a chance. And that's the thing. You have to understand the first episode, especially they're introducing people and
and I think that too. And I think it's also important to remember that this show was filmed to be a completely different show.
That's right.
And it was edited to be a housewife show.
Right.
So initially the show was supposed to be about charity. It was supposed to be about Tiffany moving to Dallas and kind of like getting into the social scene, which I think is why there's so much emphasis, or from what I'm hearing. Because when they were filming the show, when I was around, when they were kind of filming the shows, that's what it was pitched to me as, you know what I mean? As people were talking about it. And, when we go to events and there's like all these posters that, by entering the premises, you are agreeing to appear on a show called Making It in Dallas, So I think that's important to remember as far as like the tone is talking about the charity thing and kind of the relationship between the characters.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with you. And it's all about dynamics between the characters. That's what all these shows are about. And you don't get those dynamics until you begin to know who they are and begin to see them interact over time. And so for me, that's why I give these shows a long time to develop, because you have to get that point.
But I will say this.
Yeah.
I watched one episode. I was disappointed. If the entire season is going to be like this first episode, this franchise is not going to last long. It may last 2 seasons tops.
That's your opinion, but okay.
Well, it's not an opinion. It seems like more of a fact. Kind
It ain't a fact, bitch. It's an opinion.
But I mean, you got.
It's not a fact until it happens. It hasn't happened yet.
Well, based on the first episode, a lot of people disagree with it.
A lot of people still like the show too. So just because there's people who were naysayers about it doesn't mean it's going to go away. Just because some of y'all don't like it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Okay. Next, then we're talking about Housewives of Potomac, because that reunion was interesting to me. And then one reason is because you're always saying about how I look, I should be on that show because of how I look and everything else.
Oh, them hoes got on my nerves too.
Yeah, I know. But I was going to say, though, Giselle, the whole thing about the green contacts question. Did you hear that question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I, all my life, have gotten that question. Are those really your eyes? Are those your eyes? And I was dating guys, and people made me take my contacts out and everything. It's always pissed me off. So anyway, but she said, these are my eyes. I was born with them, bitches. And that was the truth. And I like that. And then somebody said, oh, Charisse, your friend you like over there, and was talking to Robin or whatever. And Robin was saying it's a moot point. It's a moot point. And Charisse says, no, you mean mute, darling. Mute. She's such a fucking idiot. She was saying it the right way, and she said it's mute anyway. And then Katie to Giselle says to Katie, I can't talk obviously. Katie says to Giselle, "You're renting," to call her out for the fact that she's not really owning her own home. And then of course the whole thing was about being biracial and all that kind of stuff. Did you like the reunion, or what did you think about it, Jason?
It was all right.
It was all right.
It was all right. It really didn't serve me what I needed, but it was like
Karen got read a few times though, so that was good. Karen got read.
Karen got on my.
Me
Karen
too.
got on my nerves the entire season from the.
Well, me too. I can't stand the bitch. I can't stand her.
She gets on my, and then she was talking about how. Someone had somebody had written in and said that, you always trying to get with the cute flight instructor and yada, yada, yada. But, would you let your husband do the same? And all the women was like, no, Karen will cut a bitch if somebody let her husband. I'm like, don't nobody want that old ass
That's
man.
What they all said. Nobody wants your husband anyway.
Don't nobody want that man. But here's the thing. But they showed a clip of a little snippet of the next thing, the next part 2 or whatever.
Yes.
I hope they don't do a 3-part. 2 is enough.
Well, do you think Potomac is going to last or not?
According to what they're saying, no. Okay. But I was somewhat entertained by it. I didn't even watch every episode. I watched the majority of them, but not all of them.
Okay, I watched all of them. Yeah.
I was somewhat entertained, but it's not giving me like Atlanta Housewives.
Right. Well, Atlanta Housewives is the creme de la creme. There ain't nobody that's dramatic as that show. That's all got it all going on.
Right. But I mean, they once again they start throwing around the gay word and
yes,
talk about he pinched his butt. I'm like, so what? That's their marriage. If that's what they do, and if Ashley is okay with that, then that is their marriage. Let them do what they want to do. But that's a whole nother show. We got to talk about that next week because I have a whole different thing going on about how people automatically want to call somebody gay just because they don't have tattoos, a 6-pack, dropping you off to work in your shit and slap you upside the fucking head every day. So it's like,
so we will address that next time for sure.
We will talk. I will go in depth. I will go ham, cheese, and bread on that next.
Okay, and just before we go, real quick, everybody, if you're a Housewives fan, all 89 Real Housewives ever were ranked by Thrillist.com. It's THRILLIST.com. You can go there and you can see the rankings, and I think I agree with them pretty much. They're pretty right on. So if you want to,
who was number one?
Who was number one? I forgot. Oh no, Teresa Giudice, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it tells you why they voted them that way.
I think Nene was number 3. Somebody was number 2, but I
yeah. Okay, so we will be back next week, everybody. By the way, if you want to find out more about us, you can go to GAYXYZ.com. You can listen live to the show there anytime we're on live, which is every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central. You can always go also to Spreaker.com to find us there as well, and also on iTunes. So be sure to subscribe if you want to. You can find out more about me, Donovan, at offlimitshow.com. And you be sure to follow Christian because he has a new website coming out soon.
Yes, I do.
At his website.
Yeah, so you can check out my current website, ChristianAlexanderFashion.com, before it expires and goes away forever. Or just follow me on Instagram at Christian Craven.
And Jason?
You know me, I just have Twitter. I don't have any of the other stuff. But you can follow me at Jason be like. It's Jason_B_BE_like.
And we will be back next week. Thank you so much for calling in, John. We appreciate it. And any callers that we ever have, we appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much. And those of you who are new to the show, call us. Call in. We want to hear from you, or email us at Donovan@GAYXYZ.com, because these stupid bitches refuse to set up their goddamn email addresses.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. We love you. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Bye.
Bye. Sex for everyone.